Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I'm Wiley. On this break time, solving conversation for me. So this past week, I attended and presented at the Critical Approaches to Black Media Culture Conference. It was the best conference that I've attended in a long time. The people were kind. The food was amazing. I love New Orleans forever. During a presentation, I heard a film and media scholar argue that representation will not save us. And it was one of the conversations that stayed with me, and I had thoughts, so I wrote notes. And these are my notes. He stated this while citing a litany of Black television shows, including The Cosby Show, Blackish, and others. I've been sitting with that conversation for the past couple of days, not because I think he is right or wrong, but because I'm uncertain whether anyone is actually looking to television shows, past or present, to save us. I remember The Cosby Show because it was one of the few programs that my parents would let me watch during my childhood. I also remember the backlash, the comments, if you will, what we would now call them anyway, about the Cosby Show. The show had deep connections to respectability politics, Black aesthetics, and a carefully curated vision of Black life. This is not an argument for or against Bill Cosby. You won't find that within this video. Just saying. It's simply to note that the show was intentional, curated, if you will. It offered a particular depiction of Black family life, polished, professional, stable. And yet, one of the central critiques was that not everyone's family looked like the Huxtables. Representation was debated not because it did not matter, but because it stood in for Black life rather than reflecting its plurality. That tension has been staying with me, and it still stays with me. I've been thinking about representation not as a solution, but as a question. Representation is not monolithic. In many conversations about media, especially around Black, queer, and trans life, representation is framed as progress, to see ourselves on screen, to be included, to be visible. I understand that desire, I share it, and I am always happy to see it. And I keep wondering, what exactly do we think representation does? What does it mean? Representation can make us visible, but visibility is an affordance and a constraint. It can create possibility and also creates risk. Visibility can intensify scrutiny, commodification, and containment. To be seen within an existing structure is to be made legible within that structure's terms. And legibility is not neutral, it is always structured by power. Representation is often treated as recognition, but recognition within existing systems can stabilize the very arrangement of power to marginalize us. To be represented is not the same as being free. It is to be made intelligible within someone else's frame. This becomes even more complicated, multifaceted, or complex, if you will, when thinking about Black trans life. Black trans men, in particular, are often underrepresented in mainstream media. When representation does occur, it frequently oscillates between invisibility and spectacle. Inclusion alone does not dismantle the racialized and gender infrastructures that shape whose lives are considered coherent, desirable, and safe. The question is not whether representation matters. It does. The question is whether representation rearranges power. Does it shift material conditions? Does it transform the systems that decide whose humanity is legible in the first place? Or does it simply widen the frame while leaving the structure intact? I'm not arguing that representation is meaningless. I'm wondering what it means and how that meaning varies across context, audience, and power. Perhaps the work is not only to be seen, but to interrogate the conditions under which we are seen. Not only to demand inclusion, but to ask, what does freedom look like beyond legibility? Those are just some things I'm thinking about. These just tips, these just thoughts that I had during the conference as I'm listening to this presentation and wondering. Keep thinking. Be safe out there. Have a good day. I'm Wiley, and I am an information scientist. Have a good one.